Hello people, what's up? Guess what is back? It's the Sons of Anarchy deep dive series. And I have a new sign, because my old one is lost in time and space. It's small to see, but it's kind of just for continuous sakes. So up here we have the Teller family, obviously Clay, the gang, Opie's family. When it goes across like this, it's the family. And then all the people down here, then it gets even lower. Then you got some of the girls here, Tara, Wendy, Cherry. These are the cops. And, people who are only in one episode are not going to get put on the list because it just takes up too much space. Unless they become very relevant to the story later on, even if they're barely in it, you know what I mean? So, without further ado, let's get started! I'm also not wearing a costume because I don't have much of my clothes. So I'm wearing my funny shirt because I think the next series we'll do is Better Call Saul. I love that show. Oh my god. Anyways, that one will be fun because I get to do, I'll probably do Breaking Bad too then after that. But anyways, that's for way in the future because this is a long show and I'm trying to get through all of it. So, we're going to cover 2 episodes in this. We're at Season 1, Episode 6, and then Season 1, Episode 7. So, stick with me. We're going to talk a little. I'm going to give you some analysis things that I noticed, and we'll go. Trigger warning, violence, gun use, general rated R stuff. Yeah, if there's something really horrible that happens, I'll let you guys know. So let's get started. Season 1, Episode 6 is called AK-51. And things that happened in the past was the warehouse got blown up, Tara Stalker came to town, Clay slept with Cherry, who is a crow eater from the Nevada Charter, and SOA gets their guns from the IRA, but they've been getting their guns from the IRA. Yeah. So, Jax and Piney sell guns to Piney's redneck friends. And it's just them, and it's just like a couple of wilderness dudes shooting guns. So you don't think much of it. They try to rip them off by giving them too little money. But they get the money, they give them the guns, they don't really think much of it. And then you see Gemma is going through menopause, and she's having a rough time with Clay. So it's making their relationship very strained. And their sex life goes really bad. Out of nowhere, Cherry shows up to the SAMCRO clubhouse with Juice. He just, couldn't say no to her, and she got in the truck. She wanted to come see Half Sack. When Clay sees her, he kind of acts suspicious, and he's like, what the fuck is she doing here? And then Gemma sees how suspicious he's acting, and she's kind of like, oh, so you slept with somebody else, and now she's here. Then you see Piney's friends. They're using the guns they got from the Sons to hold up a prison transport vehicle to get their friend out. And they shoot one cop in the making of it. So they kill a cop and they break somebody out of a van. They got away somehow. And, I know how, because they also handcuffed one of the cops to the cop car so they could not chase them. Then you meet Agent Stahl, who is a woman ATF agent, and she is investigating the AK-47 robbery. She shows up to the clubhouse and takes Clay away for questioning because He's the owner and the last person to make a call to the phone that was left at the scene was the TM Motors. And while he's gone, Jax is in charge because he's the vice president. And so he confronts Piney and he tells him he needs to go to the cabin that they have. Or I think it's Piney's cabin. Maybe it's just the Sons have like another cabin for like when they need to escape or whatever. And Piney's like, you're not in charge of me. And Jack's like, yes, I am. This falls on my back. And then he says, the backs of children. And he walks away because Piney's like really old. And Jax is really young. And it's quite the quote. Clay is getting interrogated, but he kind of kills it. He's not charged with a crime in 7 years, so he thinks that this is no reason to suspect him. ATF is pretty much just out for them, and they plan to search the clubhouse. After Clay learns that they're gonna search the clubhouse, Clay calls his lawyer, but gets denied. Because she's like, I'll let you do that in a couple of hours when I have time, and like leaves. So yeah. You see Luann, who is, let's see here, I gotta put her on here. Oh no, Luann, she is there, okay, cool. Luann, who is Otto's old lady, she runs a porno studio. She's best friends with Gemma. They're just talking about menopause, and that's kind of when you like learn more that they're like really close, good friends with each other. You see that Jax is meeting up with a cop that survived the holdup, and he tells him he wants to make it right. This guy is a dirty cop. He's on their payroll, so Jax wants to find the shooters and get revenge first before the cops can, because they want to figure it out within themselves so nobody gets in trouble, pretty much. Jax says to the cop, it's either two of us together or one of us dead. And it's just like, damn, girl. This show has like some really good writing, honestly. I'm not ashamed to say that. Some of the things these characters say are like, wow, damn, girl. So Stahl attempts to get a warrant. The stalker shows up and shows Stahl the pics from the patch over where they're using the guns, the same type of gun that was used in the robbery. And then she sees that all the pictures have oil barrels and it's illegal to transport oil across state lines. So that's fun. Piney figures out where his friends are at because they're in hiding, and Stahl gets the warrant that she was looking for the club because of the oil drums. Jax is reading on the roof. Cohen looks at Abel. Well, they're in the baby microwave, and Tara's like, get the fuck out. And then you see, because Gemma knows that Clay slept with Cherry while they were on their run, purely out of spite for half-sack, but she also doesn't know that part. Even if she did, I don't think she would care. She sees Cherry walking down the road and truck slaps her in the face and breaks her nose. And so Gemma gets put in custody. She's just in like a holding cell, and then Clay is in the same police station, but he's in the interrogation room. So Gemma and Clay see each other, and then they get into like this big ass argument, and it's in front of all the cops, and it's like really funny. And this is how Gemma smokes a cigarette. She goes, like that. So, you know, keep that in mind. She's like quite the smoker too. She smokes a lot, so she does it like all the time, which is kind of cool because then you think of all the little things that these people did for these characters, you know, how they built the characters and all that stuff. It's pretty interesting. And you see they have to move the guns they have in the oil barrels from the warehouse because they learn that they're going to get searched. So they use this like I don't remember what it's called. It's like a waste truck where they're like the sewage truck where there's like a hose and everything and it's filled with shit. So they probably like bribe the guy or something and they put the guns inside of the barrel so that later on they can just sneak in and get the guns out and not get them found during the search. So the clubhouse gets raided, but they destroy everything and they don't find anything. Cohen specifically destroys Jax's room. It takes some stuff. You see Piney is at the cabin. His friend offers to buy the rest of the guns, but Jax and Piney and Opie go to tie up loose ends. Stahl learns that Cohen is not standing on business because he told them that he was there because his precinct told him to go to like investigate Sons, but really he's there to stalk Tara. And Stahl doesn't know the Tara part, but she does learn that his higher ups don't know he's there. You see Cherry and Hashtag reunite in the hospital when she's like healing up her nose or whatever, and it's kind of cute. Opie, Jax, and Piney go trade the guns with the rednecks and send them off, but then they get blown up because there's explosives in the bag, and they put them all in their truck and drove off. And yeah. So they blow them up with a car bomb, and then you can tell they added in crow sound effects, but it's a nice touch. Jax proves himself to Piney by doing all of this stuff. Piney is Opie's dad. I didn't make that clear. But it's funny, because here's a fun fact, is that Piney and Opie weren't related initially, but they like had really good chemistry and looked similar, so they wrote them as father and son. Interesting. Jax mentions the fact that there's been this ATF agent on their ass to Tara, and Tara's like, what do you mean? And he's pretty much just tells her everything, like he's been stalking the club and like fucking with them non-stop, but they haven't found anything. This is suspicious to Tara. It scares her, so she asks Jax to drive her home, and then Cohen follows them. And as Gemma and Clay both get released from the respective parts of the jail, they drive off, and they're wearing the stupid little motorcycle helmets that look really funny. They look like apes when they wear them. So Gemma kind of just tells Cherry she can stay as long as she doesn't ever talk to Clay again, pretty much. Because, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much what happens all in that episode. So the next one is some pretty heavy stuff. There's a lot that happens, so I'm looking forward to it. 3 different sets of bones were found in an open grave that was buried for a really long time. Jax drives Tara home like she asked previously in the last episode. And she asks, she's acting suspicious, so he asks about the car that's been following him. And then she tells him that that's her stalker. And then Jax confronts Cohen by going up to his car and being like, leave Tara alone or I'm gonna fucking stab you. Jax then goes to the cops and is like, what the fuck? And they're like, we didn't know, or else we wouldn't have done let him do anything. Half-Sack is fighting, training for a boxing match they're gonna have betting on. And you meet Lowell Jr. He was not on the character list because he isn't in any more episodes. This is the only episode he's in. He's a mechanic at Morrow, and you learn his dad was also a mechanic there, but they were just mechanics, they're not part of the club. Then you learn that the club needs $80,000 for the guns for a down payment, so they can keep having the guns that they run and sell and make most of their money off. Clay tells Bobby to push up on Cherry to keep Halfsack distracted with fighting. It's funny because then you see Jax, Tig, and Clay like hiding in the bushes, and it's like really funny looking. All three of them are supposed to be Mayan bones. And the Mayans, if you don't remember from the very first episode, are like the rival gang. Oh yeah, and they want to stop the bones from getting ID'd because if they see that they're Mayans, they're going to know that the Sons did it. Jax's dad actually died in the same time period as Lowell's dad disappeared. And Hale confronts Tara, asking why she never said anything about her stalker. She's pretty much like, he's like an officer, nobody wanted to help me. I couldn't barely get press charges in the first place, let alone get help like this type of thing, so it's pretty sad. Clay is lying about all of the bodies being Mayans. Clay is a liar. You learn that Lowell is a drug user and his dad was also a drug user, and he has a kid. His kid's name is Moby. His dad disappeared when he was really young, like 15 or something. And so Clay helped to raise him. And it's really obvious that Tara and Jax still really love each other. It's quite apparent. You see Cohen, after Jax confronts him, he breaks into Jax's house and destroys his baby's room. And he destroys everything, breaks the crib, breaks everything, and pisses on the floor. Abel is still at the hospital, of course. And then Jax comes down to the morgue when he's not supposed to, and while Clay and Tig are trying to get evidence from the bodies so that they can't test them, they're already been ID'd. So then Jax sees the toe tag and sees that it's his dad. And then he asks, what the fuck's going on here? Why is Lowell Sr. the other body here? They're like, the Mayans killed him. They were killing anybody and everybody. Like, it doesn't matter that he wasn't part of the club. They were just going after people. And then, because Clay told Bobby to come hit on Cherry and trying to keep her away from Hashtag, he's gross as fuck to her, and then she kicks him in the balls, and it's really funny. Because he's being gross, and she gets to kick him in the balls. And with the body identified, they know that the cops are going to pour poison onto Lowell's ear about the club and, like, a bunch of stuff and, like, tell him a bunch of lies and stuff. Whatever. Clay says he'll take care of it, so he tells Lowell that his dad was in the grave. And then he also blames it on the Mayans. And, Jax is reading again, but then the passage says something about how lies and truth blend together until no one knows what the truth is. And that's very valid for this episode. Gemma finds the baby's room destroyed, and she leaves to get Jax. You then learn that they don't plan to prosecute until they share the fact that the body is Lowell Sr., and they plan to interrogate Lowell Jr. Lowell Sr. was not a member of the club, but obviously he knew something he shouldn't have. The cops have a logical conclusion that Lowell being killed by the Sons, as well as both of the Mayans were killed by the Sons, but he thinks that they're lying. Everyone thinks that Lowell was killed by the Mayans. Jack sees the state of Abel's room and knows who did it. He's on a mission to fuck up Cohen and throws him through a plate glass window. He gets stabbed in the leg with a scissors, but he does not stop. Cohen is interrogated, kind of, by the other cops, Stahl and Hale. The girl cop and then the good cop from town. And they essentially just tell him, like, you're fucked, bro, you need to leave, like. Then they go to interrogate Jax, and she tells Jax that he still has pull for Tara, and she only came back so that Jax would protect her from her stalker. But Jax is like, whatever, like, that's not true. Housesack does not end up taking the dive like they agreed to, because they wanted to do betting where Halfsack won every single one until the very end, and then didn't win that one, so they won a bunch of money. Everything that was betting on him goes to them, you know. So they were thinking that would get them a bunch of money. And it's funny because the reason he doesn't take the dive is because Clay comes up to Cherry one more time and tries to hit on her. She rejects him, and then he's like, you know what, you can stay Halfsack, and you guys, like, if you guys, like, work out, you can stay, I don't have a problem with that. Like, you're good. And then she hugs him, and Halfsack sees it, and then he fucking knocks the guy out and doesn't win the money. Jax also follows Cohen out of town when he is done being interrogated. And then Clay, Tig, and Gemma conspire a plan that Clay will kill Lowell because he ran off and left his kid locked in a bathroom. We are led to believe that this is similar to what happened to his dad. Clay is pretty ruthless, to be honest. And so he finds Lowell and tells him that he's pretty much the same as his dad. Your father wasn't killed by the enemy, he was the enemy because he probably knew too much about something or other. There's one big, huge reveal at the very end that's like, I really can't ruin it, but it's honestly so, it's quite the reveal. The part with Clay and Lowell can be seen as a play. Lowell talks so specifically that it feels like I'm reading a script in a good way, in like a script analysis type of way. I can, like, if I'm, like, that part for some reason, I was just watching them, and like, in my head, I was visualizing what the script looked like. Jax tells Gemma that his house and his kid aren't her burden, and that itself is really sad because one, he sees it as a burden to have his child alive and his house. Two, he thinks that Gemma's just gonna, like, let him do that by himself. Obviously, she would never do that. After the fight, you actually see Clay and Tig get into Clay's van, and Lowell Jr. is in the back seat, like, crying because he's, like, strung out or whatever, and probably, like, really upset. And so Clay actually didn't kill Lowell. Shocker, actually, in my opinion. There's a plot hole here. Why isn't Jack surprised to see Tara at the hospital if she just came into town recently? Clay says he told Jax the truth and told Lowell a little bit more. You see Jax confront Tara and ask her if she is only there so that he would hurt the ATF agent because nobody else would. She says no. And just a couple of things I wanted to tell you that I don't think I went over. So, a couple of things. SAMCRO, it's what they call the club, but it stands for the Sons of Anarchy Motorcycle Club Redwood Original. Alright? So that's just the original charter. because they're from California where the redwoods are. So, and then they call going to meet in their clubhouse going to church. It's like a, you know, secret code word or something. So yeah, that's the next two. There's some crazy shit that happens coming up, so be prepared for that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry I don't have a straighter place to put my camera, but I think it'll be okay. So thanks for watching. Look out for more stuff. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.